Get ready for a story that will change how you see legends forever. Andre the Giant was famous for being one of the largest men to ever step into a wrestling ring, but what if I told you that his daughter is even bigger than he was? Yes, you heard that right. Andre's own daughter has grown up to be taller and possibly even stronger than the man the world called a giant. This is not just a story about size. It's about family, fame, struggle, and what it means to live in the shadow of someone unforgettable. Today we'll take you from Andre's childhood in a small French village, through his rise to global fame, and finally to the life of his daughter, Robin. By the end you'll see why this family's story is still making headlines and inspiring people everywhere. Andre the Giant's real name was Andre René Rousimoff. He was born on May 1946 in a quiet village called Coulommiers, just outside Paris, France. From the very start, Andre was different. He weighed 13 pounds at birth, which is about double the weight of most newborns. His parents, Boris and Marianne, were farmers who worked hard to support their 5 children. Andre was the middle child, but he quickly stood out. By age 12 he was already 6 feet 3 inches tall. By 14 he was 6 feet 6 inches. No one else in the family grew like this, although his grandfather was said to be tall too. Back then, people didn't know much about medical conditions like acromegaly, which is what Andre had. This rare disorder causes the body to make too much growth hormone, making bones and tissues grow larger than normal. But in Andre's small village, people just thought he was a big, strong kid. He went to school like everyone else, but he was too big to fit on the school bus. That's where a famous story comes in. Samuel Beckett, the playwright, lived nearby and would give Andre rides to school in his truck. To the world, Beckett was a genius, but to Andre, he was just the friendly neighbor who helped him out. Andre's childhood wasn't easy. His family didn't have much money, and by the time he was 14, he had to leave school to work on the farm full-time. His size made him a huge help. He could do the work of several men, but it also meant he missed out on being a regular teenager. Still, Andre was known as a gentle giant. He was always kind, polite, and had a good sense of humor. People in his village liked him, and kids weren't scared of him. He had a way of making people feel comfortable, even though he was so much bigger than everyone else. As Andre grew older, his size kept increasing. He wore size 22 shoes, and needed special furniture, but he didn't let this bother him. He learned to live with his differences, and he never lost his positive attitude. Eventually, doctors figured out that Andre had acromegaly, but there wasn't much they could do about it back then. Andre just kept going, working hard and helping his family. By the time Andre was 17, he realized that life on the farm wasn't enough for him. He wanted more excitement, more adventure, and maybe a chance to see the world, so he left his village and moved to Paris. Paris was a big change from the countryside. It was busy, loud, and full of new things to see and do. Andre took whatever jobs he could find. He worked as a mover, carrying heavy furniture with ease. People in Paris couldn't help but notice his size. Eventually, a wrestling promoter heard about him and thought he could be a star. Andre started wrestling in small venues under the name Jean Ferret, inspired by a French folk hero. He was promoted as the Gentle Giant, and people loved him. He wasn't just big, he was friendly and strong, and fans enjoyed watching him wrestle. He learned how to move in the ring, how to make matches exciting, and how to connect with the crowd. It didn't take long for word to spread about the giant from France. Soon, Andre was invited to wrestle in other countries. In Canada, he was called Monster Rousimoff, and in Japan, his size amazed everyone. But the biggest change came when Vince McMahon Sr., the head of the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, later WWE, saw Andre's potential. McMahon knew Andre was special, but he also knew that just being big wasn't enough. He needed to be a superstar, so he gave him a new name, Andre the Giant. McMahon also made a smart move. He decided that Andre shouldn't wrestle in the same place every week. Instead, Andre became a special attraction. This made fans even more excited to see him. Andre traveled all over the world, wrestling up to 340 matches a year. He went to Japan, Australia, Canada, and all over the United States. It was a tough schedule, and Andre barely had time to rest. But he loved performing, and he knew he was helping wrestling become more popular than ever. One of the things that made Andre so famous was the myth that he was undefeated for years. This wasn't completely true. He did lose some matches, but promoters worked hard to keep the legend alive. Fans believed that Andre was unbeatable, and it made his matches even more exciting. When he walked into the ring, people felt like they were seeing something special. But being that big wasn't always easy. Andre had trouble fitting into cars, planes, and even hotel beds. Eating in public could be a problem because people would stare or make rude comments. He often felt uncomfortable in public, and his health started to suffer. The constant travel and the effects of acromegaly caused pain in his back, knees, and joints. But Andre rarely showed his pain. He wanted to give fans the best show possible. By the mid-1980s, Andre was already a legend in wrestling, but his fame was about to reach even more people, not in the ring but on the big screen. That happened with the movie The Princess Bride. The movie's writer William Goldman and director Rob Reiner had written the part of Fezzik the Gentle Giant with Andre in mind. They thought he was perfect for the role because he was not only big and strong but also kind and funny. Getting Andre into the movie wasn't easy. English wasn't his first language, and he had trouble with some of the lines. The director and crew worked with him, helping him practice until he got it right. Andre's deep voice and unique accent made the character even more special. There were also physical challenges. By this time, Andre's health was getting worse. He had a lot of back pain and couldn't move like he used to. For one scene, where Fezzik catches Princess Buttercup, the crew had to use special wires and tricks to make it look like Andre was lifting her easily. Even riding a horse was a challenge, so the crew had to make adjustments to keep him safe. Despite all these problems, Andre gave the role everything he had. On screen, Fezzik was funny, caring, and strong. Audiences loved him, and lines like "Anybody Want a Peanut" became classics. The Princess Bride was a big hit, and for many people it was the first time they saw Andre outside of wrestling. He became a movie star, and he was very proud of the role. He would carry a copy of the movie with him and show it to friends, happy to share his work. Back in wrestling, Andre's biggest moment came at Wrestlemania 3 in 1987. This was one of the most famous wrestling matches ever. Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan. Andre was billed as undefeated for 15 years, and Hogan was the new hero of wrestling. The match took place in front of over 93,000 fans at the Pontiac Silverdome in Michigan, with millions more watching on TV. Behind the scenes, Andre was in a lot of pain. His back was so bad that he could barely walk, but he refused to quit. He wanted to give the fans a great show. The match itself was simple but powerful. Andre used his size to control the early part of the match, but the fans were cheering for Hogan. Then came the big moment. Hogan picked up Andre and slammed him to the mat. No one thought it was possible, but Hogan did it. He pinned Andre and won the match. The crowd went wild, and that moment is still shown in wrestling highlights today. For Andre, it was a way to give back to wrestling. He let Hogan win, passing the torch to the next generation. After WrestleMania 3, Andre's health kept getting worse. He couldn't wrestle as much, but he still made special appearances. He spent more time at his ranch in North Carolina, where he liked to relax and enjoy the peace and quiet. He loved spending time with friends and family, and he was known for his generosity and kindness. It was during this time that the world learned about Andre's daughter, Robin Christensen-Roussimoff. Robin was born in 1979. From the start she was different too. She grew up to be very tall, even taller than her famous father. But her life was not easy. Andre's wrestling schedule kept him on the road most of the time, so he wasn't around much when Robin was growing up. Their relationship was complicated. Robin has said in interviews that she didn't see her father often, but she always knew he loved her. Growing up as Andre the Giant's daughter came with its own challenges. Robin was taller than most people her age, and she faced many of the same problems as her father, finding clothes that fit, dealing with people staring, and feeling out of place. But Robin is strong and confident. She learned to accept her size and be proud of who she is. She didn't become a wrestler like her father, but she found her own way to honor his legacy. Robin has worked hard to keep her father's memory alive. She attends wrestling events, speaks at conventions, and has been part of documentaries about Andre's life. She wants people to remember not just the giant in the ring, but the kind, funny man he was at home. Robin is also a supporter of body positivity. She encourages people to accept themselves, no matter what they look like or how different they feel. Robin's story is inspiring because she has faced many of the same struggles as her father, but she has made her own path. She is proud of her family and proud of her unique story. She reminds us that being different is not a bad thing. It can be a source of strength. Andre the Giant passed away in 1993, but his legacy lives on. He changed wrestling forever and became a legend in movies and pop culture. People around the world still talk about his matches, his movies, and his larger-than-life personality, but maybe his greatest legacy is the example he set for his daughter and for all of us.
He showed that you can be kind and strong, no matter how big or small you are. Robin continues to share her father's story with the world. She stands tall, both literally and figuratively, and inspires others to be proud of who they are. She shows that greatness isn't just about size, it's about heart, courage, and being true to yourself. As we look back on the lives of Andre the Giant and his daughter, we see a story of family, strength, and never giving up. Andre's journey from a small village in France to global fame is a reminder that anything is possible. Robin's journey shows us that we can honor our past while creating our own future. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the incredible story of Andre the Giant and his daughter Robin. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share it with your friends. Remember, true greatness comes from within. No matter how big the world may seem, there's always room for more kindness and courage. Stay strong, stay proud, and we'll see you in the next video.